Hi guys, welcome to Polyphonic Tarot. Today I'm going to be doing a monthly forecast reading for someone. And to be clear, this again, to restate this, the monthly forecast readings are not for all 12 months of the year. They are, it is basically a look at 12 aspects of your life for the next month. Month, not months. All right, just to kind of clarify that. I know it's monthly forecast, but it is month is what I mean. Okay, so it's only for this next month or so that we are looking at. I have tried, and the reason for this, to kind of explain that, I guess, I have tried doing readings for full years for myself and for other people, and I've never found them to be all that accurate just because they're so far reaching into the future. And usually it has been my experience, and you can by all means, if you watch this video and want to share your own experience, by all means leave a comment. But it's been my experience that when you try to probe too far into the future, you tend to get results that are a little what's the word I want? Just less accurate, less to the point, and that are a little more difficult to pin down, I think, in my experience anyway. And I don't like delving that far in because things are constantly changing, and at least that's my belief, that things are constantly changing, and that all of your decisions affect the ultimate outcome of things. So who knows? You might wake up tomorrow and do something differently that you don't even realize, and it might change what happens in a year. I mean, who knows? So I do tend to do things, look at things for the next month or 2 months or so, and I try to cap it at that. Excuse me. So anywho, that's my reasoning behind it. It's kind of silly, I guess, but that's just what I like to do. So we are going to be doing a 12-card reading today, looking at the next month, so basically middle of January to the middle of February or so, for this particular querent, and we will see what comes up. I invoke thee, that thou wilt send head of the great angel who art set over the operations of this secret wisdom, that he may lay his hands invisibly upon these consecrated cards of art, and that thereby we may obtain true knowledge of hidden things, to the glory of thine ineffable name. Amen. And I am using my Legacy of the Divine Tarot again today. This is almost exclusively all I've been using lately this winter, and I don't know why that is. I love my Tot deck, don't get me wrong. I will always use my Tot deck. I will always consider it to be my main deck. But for that reason, it is nice to every now and then change it up. I really like to change it up. I don't like to stick myself with the same deck indefinitely. I'm one of those readers who likes to use different types of decks and switch now and then, and usually with season. I tend to change with season. So for winter, lately I've been using this, and it just feels right. So I've been really happy with it. I like the readings I get with it. I think that they're pretty good. Nothing is quite the Tot deck. Nothing can quite ever be the Tot deck. And that's okay, but this still works very well. Especially since I do think that, just to kind of give some commentary on this deck as I shuffle here, I do also feel that Mr. Marchetti did a really good job with this deck as far as the symbolism is concerned. I really like how much attention he paid to the astrological stuff, all of those attributions. Most of the cards show you their astrological attributions, which is more than can be said for a lot of Rider-Waite clones. that don't really pay much attention to that. Obviously, the original Rider-Waite doesn't have that at all. That's sort of a Tot Tarot kind of thing to show those symbols. And I like that Cairo tried to incorporate them in certain cards. Not all, but most of them have the astrological symbols if you look for them, which I really like because it sort of... By doing that, he does sort of bridge the two systems a little bit, just because Crowley pays so much attention to those decans, and they're very important to his understanding of each of the minors. Whereas Waite doesn't really talk about them all that much. So I like that in this deck we get the best of both worlds. We're reminded what the astrological attribution is, and we are given the traditional picture more or less to understand it. I like that. So. And the pictures are quite nice. It's one of those decks where if you look at the cards individually, some of them are a little goofy looking, to be honest with you. But when you lay them all out, they look very nice, I think. Anywho, sorry, not to chew your ear off about this deck. But just thought I'd share. Alright, and we're good to go. So we're going to lay 12 cards out in a circle to represent the 12 signs, not the 12 months. And the good thing with these is that they all fit on my table. Go figure. It's nice to actually be able to keep all of this fairly organized here. Okay. Well, bottom of the deck is the Sun, which is auspicious, though it is preceded by the Ten of Swords and the Two of Wands, the Ace of Wands. So you've got, all right. There's the bottom of the deck is talking about something changing in your life and giving way to new things, and this being a month of recharging your energy and basically getting yourself back to a place of better activity. It seems like you're going to be doing more and taking on new things this month, particularly because something has ended, perhaps abruptly in a way that you didn't necessarily want it to. It looks like something has not quite gone the way that you anticipated, and you're having to change that. And I'm sorry, I'm really cold. But I don't see this as entirely a bad thing, only because you do have the Sun on the bottom of your deck, which tells me that while it is a letting go process with death and all of that, and the Ten of Swords, and that while that can be painful, for the most part, I want to say that this is a positive development for you because it's allowing you to get better in touch with yourself and who you are as an individual. The Sun is all about individuality and letting your light shine for people, so to speak. So your perspective for yourself, or your general outlook for this month, is going to be the Ace of Coins. So right now you're focusing on probably on a financial situation here. Either you're looking to try to get a new job, or try to make more money or something like that. But the Ace of Coins is your overall outlook for just focusing on money and probably making new money of some kind. If you've recently lost your job, I'm very sorry. That's not fun. And so that would explain why you are looking for some kind of development financially. As far as your possessions are concerned, this is also a little troubling. For Taurus, you have the Five of Swords, so you are also losing money. Financially, you're not doing well right now, according to this anyway, and I'm sorry to hear that. And that might explain some of the loss and the feelings of frustration that you are experiencing right now. However, you do seem to have a good support network for the most part. Your Gemini for this month, which is basically your communications, your friends, who it is you're associating with, what you're telling people, that sort of thing, is the Three of Cups, which is a very good card to have in this position. It means that while there are some bad things going on in your life, you will still have friends to kind of relax with, and you'll have support from those friends, and that will be a comfort for you, I think, this month, and will be something that is important for you to, I want to say, just consider and reflect upon. I think your friends will be a little bit more stable this month than your financial situation, and that could prove to be something that's a relief for you. Your personal life, your home life, your inner emotions, that sort of thing, Cancer, is the Two of Swords here. So I think that while you will have this very negative aspect of your life right now, I want to say that there's enough positive in your life for you to, for the most part, be okay with the developments that are going on. It's sort of like you will personally be taking the good with the bad, and not really trying to push in one way or another, not really trying to force the situation into one corner either. I don't know, there's just there's an idea of an impasse here in this card, and I see you as not really being all that active in some way, or just not letting that tension get to you all that much. The Two of Swords is a card that does represent calm for the most part, and peace, and there's still this inherent sense of separatism, of there being two different things going, not necessarily going at it, but two opposing forces that are working against each other in some way, but they are not, one is not overbalancing or counterbalancing the other in a way that is, God, I can't talk this morning, but one is not heavier than another, is what I'm trying to say. One side is not more than another. So things are pretty balanced for you emotionally, and at the personal level, things aren't quite bad, they aren't quite good either. You're sort of just trying to stay calm about the whole thing, and rational is really all I'm getting at there, I think. Yeah. Now, the sign of Leo for you is the Empress. So Leo is the sign of passion. It's the sign of your usually your love life, sometimes your sex life, but mostly the things in life that you are passionate about and that you really enjoy, love doing, hobbies, that sort of thing. And the Empress is your card for this month. So, excuse me, sorry. So amidst this backdrop of some tension between, having some good things in life to be happy about with as far as your friends and your relationships with people, but also this kind of tricky financial situation that you're going through, amidst that backdrop, you, for the most part, will, I want to say, have a very positive month as far as creativity is concerned. I see you being very creative this month, and bringing these, working just really hard and diligently to fix this financial situation. I see the Empress as connected to to this situation here, mainly because the Empress is Venus, and Venus is ruling your Five of Swords issue here. And being Earth, she does resonate with that Ace of Coins. So I see you as really using your passion this month, really trying to motivate yourself and be a go-getter this month, to try to fix this problem, really throwing yourself into developing this. But again, there's this concept of patience that's pervading these two cards here, and both of these cards are Venus, actually. The Two of Swords is also Venus in Libra. So there is a relative sense of calm about you. Again, the Empress is not like the Emperor, who, you know, goes, does lots of stuff, very active personality. The Empress is very calm, is very patient, and is very expecting. You know, she's the expecting mother. So I see you as sort of trying to wait things out and see where things develop, and but not playing an entirely passive role here. I don't see the Empress as being entirely passive here, because she is in the position of Leo, which is all about activity. So I see it more as really throwing your passion and your energy and your ambition into trying to create something for yourself that's just a better situation, one in which you're happier, and one in which you feel more fulfilled and more like you're doing what you're meant to be doing. That's really what the Empress is generally about, particularly in that position and in conjunction with the Sun and all that. So I see lots of signs for that. Your health, Virgo, for this month, your body, physical developments, is the Queen of Swords. So possibly you will be, for this month, well, the Queen of Swords is a weird card to get for one's health because she's so associated with communication. And so possibly there is someone, I don't know if this is someone else in your life who may be going through some health issues at the moment. Queen of Swords, possibly she's going through a surgical thing at the moment, or for this month. And perhaps this is someone that you will be concerned about. Queen of Swords for health, or in the sphere of health. It's a curious card. If the Queen of Swords represents you, then possibly you will be talking to a doctor or something about a concern you may have. The Queen of Swords is the type of person who... she sometimes holds grudges. And so I want to say that there's something that she is concerned about, that she feels the need to talk about. And so maybe there is some aspect of your health that you are starting to feel that you need to talk about and not necessarily not think about or ignore. Perhaps there's something that has been developing for you over time that you feel now it's necessary for you to address. Either way, the Queen of Swords is talkative, and she always indicates a personality that needs to communicate and needs to express herself in some form. And so either this is a concern of yours that you feel you will need to voice over the next month, or it is someone who is connected to you that you are concerned about, who possibly may be going through surgery or something this month. Queen of Swords. Swords can sometimes indicate surgery and that sort of thing. I don't know. So we're going to move on from there. Libra, basically the people that you are very close with, and as opposed to just your general friend circle, which is Gemini, Libra is more the people who really influence your decisions, and it can also represent the power of choice that you have this month. And you do have the moon there. So I see your decision-making process being very difficult this month, because there's so much going on right now that you are just unsure of, and there's a lot of doubt pervading your decision-making. For the most part, this is an emotional thing. You're sort of in for just a kind of a dark emotional time, a very confusing time, and one where you're not exactly sure where to turn or anything like that, or where this is going to go. And if you are looking for a new job, that makes a lot of sense, obviously. I feel like you're in the middle of a storm right now and you're waiting for the sun to dawn. And I think that that's why the sun is on the bottom of your deck. You're really just waiting for this whole mess to blow over and for something to develop. And I don't know. I feel like this Empress is very important for you to capitalize on, throwing yourself into the process a little bit more. I get the sense that I want to warn you about being too passive, because I don't know how much passivity is really great in this situation. I'm going to keep going, and we'll maybe come back to that. We'll circle back. But for Scorpio for this month, which is really more your sexual energy for this month, it can represent things that you inherit from people, things that are inherited through death, usually, things gained from loss. Now, in this situation, it is interesting since death is a prevalent aspect of this reading, and change and transitions are important. So, the Magus here could be saying that... Isn't that interesting? You've got two Mercury cards across from each other, which is kind of interesting. You've got the Three of Cups, Mercury in Cancer, opposite Mercury itself. So that's kind of interesting. And so possibly there will be a slight bit of conflict between your social life and your attempts to figure out your career situation. Possibly those will be at odds with each other for this month, particularly since you're just going to be so preoccupied with figuring out this problem. I see the Magician more as you trying to be a problem solver this month and really focusing more on problem solving and figuring it out, rather than devoting yourself too much to your social life and all of that. As much as I said that would be possibly a consolation for you this month, and I still think that it could be, but I just think at the same time you're going to be so preoccupied with your problem right now that interacting with other people too much is not necessarily something you're going to be all that keen on doing. It seems kind of frivolous, I feel. Sagittarius, which is basically your... the lessons that you will learn this month, or your philosophical stance this month, is the Ten of Discs. And so philosophically, you will be just focused on money, and possibly you will be learning this month how to better save money. The Ten of Discs is all about saving money and accumulating wealth and kind of just letting it sit there. Again, big symbols in this reading of things being very still, even though there's this chaos. So this month is very slow for you, very slow month. Not much going on for you, but a lot of stress and a lot of things that you're thinking about. Mentally, you're all over the place. There's a lot of Mercury in this reading, and I shouldn't say that you're all over the place. I don't mean to say that you're scattered this month, though possibly you are, with that moon affecting your decision making, and also the Nine of Swords and the Seven of Swords that we haven't gotten to. But I think for the most part, you're just so preoccupied that it's really hard for you to think about much else, and so the whole month has a very heavy air about it. So it's not really a month for spirituality or anything else. It's really a month for practical conservation. For Capricorn, which is your career and your job situation, you do have the Seven of Swords, which would indicate or reinforce this idea of, for the next month, your career situation being very tenuous and very uncertain. It's just... your career situation, I feel like also something really isn't quite right about your career situation. I don't know if you've been betrayed by someone that you trusted, but at work specifically. But I feel like you've been thrown under the bus here kind of badly. That Five of Swords and the Seven of Swords and the Nine of Swords, those three cards, they're like, oh, they're just very, very icky, very bad karma cards, and I see them, they're all sort of related to your work and the people that you work with. The Nine of Swords is your Aquarius card for the month, and so they're the people that are around you, the groups that you associate with. It's all groupthink, and you have the Nine of Swords coming from that influence in your life for this month. So this month you are just really wary of other people, and you're just not able to trust entirely the people around you. And I do feel like this is because you feel like you're in a very vulnerable place right now, and I do question whether or not someone threw you under the bus. That Seven of Swords is just, ugh, really bad right now. It is the moon in Aquarius. You do have some other Aquarian cards here. But the interesting thing is that it is... it's more of a funny thing rather than anything else, to me anyway. You do actually have 3 Aquarius cards here in a row, which... I don't know if that says so much as I would like it to. It says as much as I would like it to. But you do have... Wow, you actually have... Huh. I don't know. Aquarius is a card, or rather is an energy of newness and freshness and modernity. It's a card of modernity. So I don't know if there's any concept of getting rid of outdated things, because again there's that death card on the bottom of your deck too. So there is possibly this sense of you being thrown under the bus, possibly because you were doing something in an old-fashioned sort of way, and I don't know. There's a slight tension between newness in Aquarius and the sun and all of this new energy, and you, who seem kind of stuck. Just because, again, all of those energies that I've been finding in this reading that are so passive, and at the same time there's a surge of young energy coming through here up at this top part. And it's not necessarily good because it is hurting you more than it is helping you. So I don't see it as something that you're necessarily trying to embrace all that much. Yeah, the Nine of Swords is just, you're for the next month you're going to be very concerned about people around you, and you're just very concerned with how you're fitting into the groups that you usually associate with. And I feel that these are mostly your work-related groups, because your career situation is so... it's just rocky right now. For Pisces, your last card for the month, you do have the Star. And the Pisces energy for Pisces position for this reading is usually about your subconscious, your psychological state for this month, as opposed to your physical state in Virgo. So psychologically, it's more... I want to say that you are still hopeful, to put it simply. I think, for the most part, your perspective is not terrible. I think that you feel you're going to be able to pull out of this rut, or whatever this is. And I think that, for the most part, for this month, you will be uncertain, but relatively optimistic. Relatively optimistic, and I think that that's important. But again... make sure that you are staying on this and staying active and part of this part of solving this problem. I think your key cards for this month, and if I may, just as far as the majors that are in this reading are concerned, you do have 4 major arcana. You have the Empress, the Moon, the Magus, and the Star. So those are sort of the 4 main energies working through your month right now. And again, they are in the signs of Leo, Libra, Scorpio, and Pisces, respectively. So for the most part, it's a fairly watery month. Again, very passive month for you in some ways, and so much based on waiting. And that worries me a little bit. I just get a bad feeling about that. So, while patience is a virtue, and I always say that, and patience can be a very good thing, and while patience is certainly an aspect of this, the Empress for this month is all about investing your passion and your energy and your creativity wisely. It's this whole month, I feel like, is about an investment for you and how you are choosing to invest your energy and what exactly is the product you're going to get out of it by the end of the month. So I don't know. I think you have some choices here. And I think for the most part, in the next month, you're going to be focused largely on evaluating those choices and dealing with them with that star in your Pisces. Now, the one thing about that is that having the star in Pisces tells me that you're going to be looking at your opportunities from a slightly emotional standpoint, and emotions are already dominating your decision-making process with the moon. So I would be cautious about that. When you're looking at opportunities, really look at them practically more than emotionally. Just be careful. Make sure that you're remaining balanced as far as the way you are analyzing your situation. Make sure that you're analyzing it both intellectually and emotionally, and are not letting the emotions dominate, or your fears or your doubts or your delusions, whatever they may be. Don't let them cloud your judgment. The sun is also all about clarity and seeing things. Seeing through the veil of things, seeing things for how they actually are. And I think that that's important for you this month too. Okay? So I hope that this makes sense. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will be happy to try to answer those for you. And as I try to get back in here. And other than that, I wish you the best of luck. I know I look like a hot mess. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, anywho, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope it was accurate and all that good stuff. So thank you very much, as always. Pleasure reading for you, and I wish you the best of luck. Take care. Bye.